You're going to want to jump on your kit for this one. Let's go. So today's lesson is all about learning and playing through your first full song. You excited? Because you should be. Going to give you some tips on how to start the whole process of learning a song. Going to walk you through it, give you some ideas of what to play, and then we're going to play it together. But before we get to that, first official order of business, there's a sale going on in the merch shop right now. Discount code DIDDLES, give you 15% off your order for the entire month of March. So if you at any point achieve maximum thumpification, you're going to want to get this hoodie. Perfect for those spring nights where you need to look cooler than everybody else. Link will be in the description box. Make sure after you watch this video, you head on over there and snatch one up. So learning songs is a large part of what we do as musicians. We're going to be constantly learning songs, while we're learning how to play, and then when we get out there and start playing with bands or start playing in church or whatever, you're going to have to learn a whole bunch of songs. So it's a good idea to get comfortable with the process of learning tunes. Now, some songs will obviously already have all the drum parts laid out for you, and you'll have to learn those. Other songs, like the one that we're going to be playing today, blank canvas. It's just a play-along track, so you get to choose how you're going to play it. Now, sometimes that can be a little bit trickier because now you're faced with the task of coming up with the appropriate drum parts. So, the best way to do this, my process for learning songs is always the same, or if I'm in the studio and it's part of the whole arranging process, you're coming up with parts, process is always the same. The first thing that you want to do is pay attention to the sections, okay? That means the arrangement, verse, chorus, bridge, like whatever the sections are. You want to be able to dissect the tune, pick it apart, so that you can play the sections appropriately. This is what I call the treatment, okay? The treatment of the song is how you're going to decide to play through each section, right? Stylistically, dynamically, all of that kind of stuff. This is the stuff that makes you a musician. But today, because you're relatively a new drummer, we're going to keep it nice and simple. I'm going to give you some really simple parts to play through this tune, and I can guarantee you it's going to sound good. So let's take a listen to this song here. I'm going to walk you through the whole arrangement. It's only a 2-minute song. It's not that long. And then afterwards, we're going to play through it together. All right. So let's take a listen to this tune. Let's pretend that we're hearing it for the first time. Actually, you probably are hearing it for the first time. I've heard it before, so I'm going to pretend that I'm hearing it for the first time. It's always a good idea to take notes if you got a pencil, sheet of paper handy, because you want to write out the sections of the song as you're hearing them, okay? And you can just use letters for this. Normally, I like to go intro, and then verse will be A, chorus will be B. If there's a bridge, that'll be C, whatever. This only has the verse and the chorus in it. Really simple. So let's take a listen and see what's going on here. All right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and So we'll call this A. All right. So we're going to call this one B. And then back to A. Just like the first time. And then back to B. Let me take a wild guess. Back to A. Now, if I were in the studio situation in the control booth with the writer of the song, I'd be doing this exact same thing. Back to B. And that's it. So, while I'm sitting there listening to the song, I'm thinking about, number one, I'm paying attention to the sections. Number two, I'm paying attention to how long they are. In this case, they all seem to be 8 bars, no big deal. Another thing that I like to pay attention to is the setup at the end of each section. Normally there's that last bar before it goes to the next section is a good spot for a setup. In other words, nice place for a drum fill. So that's what we're gonna do. So this tune is real easy, man. It's just A, B, A, B, A, B, N. Simple as that. So let me give you some really easy, simple parts to play, and then we'll go ahead and play it. Okay, so as I was listening to this song, the very first thing that I wanted to determine was the rhythmic template that I was going to sit on to create the pocket. Now, as you've heard, it's just a very simple driving, you know, there's a strong quarter note pulse going on there. I always default to 8 notes for movement when it comes to stuff like that. And I want you to do the same thing, all right? So it's just a basic 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That is going to be the bed that you float on while you're playing through this song. So that means the groove that you're going to play is just going to be based on 8 notes. I'm not going to give you any specific patterns to play, all right? Because I want you to do some thinking for yourself. But your rhythmic template is 8 notes. So that means you can play whatever you want on the kick within that 8-note pocket. Don't get out of that lane and start playing a bunch of crazy, unnecessary stuff. Just sit on those 8 notes, okay? So 8 notes on the hats. I want you to accentuate the quarters. All right? Backbeat on the snare, pretty much safe with 2 and 4. That's all good. And then as far as what you play on the kick, use the bass line that you're hearing as your sort of guide, your sort of standard foundation for what it is to play. You can play around that, but you don't need any fancy kick patterns around this. Your bass line is just thumping quarters. That's all you want to think about. So that's it as far as groove. Now, when we go to the B section, there's that one bar at the end of each of the A sections where there's a nice setup for a fill to lead in to the next section. What I want you to do there is just keep it within that 8-note pocket. So in this case, all we're going to do, unison hands, boom, and we're just going to ramp up 8 notes on the toms. It's a really good way, dun, 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 you know what I'm saying? It's a good way to build up to the next section. Tells the entire audience where this is going. Now when we get to the B section, now you can open it up, as I like to say. You do that by jumping from the hats to the ride. If you got a nice sounding ride, you can play it on the edge there and just kind of open things up a little bit, you know, take it up a notch for the B section, and then just drive through it, same way. Coming out of the B, you got that last bar in there, set it up with another 8-note ramp, dun, 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 and then boom, back to the groove. Now I'm gonna be playing with you anyway, so if you're stuck for ideas, just do what I'm doing Let's go. Nice work. That was fun, right? So the song that we were playing just now is simply called Easy Rock. It is from the DRUMEO Edge member library. So if you're already an Edge member, you can go ahead and there, download this tune for yourself, play it as much as you want. If you're not an Edge member, we teamed up. So there's a link in the description box where you can try it out for 30 days. So just click on that link. That'll take you over to my landing page. And then just a couple of clicks and you're in. You can grab any one of the 400 something tunes that are in there. So this tune was relatively simple. There's nothing too tricky about it. Some of y'all might even thought it was boring. I didn't find it boring at all. Listen, fact of the matter is, as long as you're creative, nothing's boring. Remember, there are no boring songs, just boring drummers. So there you go. Have fun with that. I'm out. New viewers, new subscribers, welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out. That right there, subscribe button. Make sure you mash that before you bounce. Share this video if you dig it. Grab yourself a hoodie. Drop a comment if you got one. Like, subscribe. See you next video.